Chesapeake, Virginia, 1650 AM WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick and at GJBTV.com. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
All right, welcome to Sports Scene on this very beautiful May 3rd. Right here in Hampton Roads, Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us. Also, folks, 92.5 FM. Tell your friends, tell your family, 1650 AM is simulcasting. Also, 2 for the price of 1 right here on 92.5 FM. Sports Scene is an interview show each Wednesday from 12 to 1. Also, sports highlights on NMPSTV.com. Tell your friends about 1650 AM and 92.5 FM, which are 2 of the same, of course, like I just said. Twitter at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at GJBTV, and HROnlineMall.com. Thank you to our military. Great guest lineup. Phil Wood of Masson will be talking Nationals and Orioles and baseball with us. Great sponsors on GJBTV.com as well as Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com. Guest lineup presented by Mi Casita Mexican Restaurant with 2 delicious locations in Virginia Beach. You can see their link on the restaurant section on Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com. That's Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com. Browse, shop, visit. Phone line presented by Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville in Virginia Beach. Well, the Wizards are in trouble. They're 0-2 in the NBA playoffs. Major League Baseball in full swing. Tides. Summer is right around the corner, which means barbecue season as well. Sponsors this month on WHKT Crawl Space Stores, P. Hogar and Newport News Greek Festival. Great interviews, business segments, highlights, commentary, what teased me off. Thank you for making the habit to listen to Sports Scene each week, and we love our regulars and newcomers. Phil Wood, right around the corner on Sports Scene, 92.5 FM, 1650 AM. Stay tuned.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has 2 locations, 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-7705. At Mi Hogar, there is something for everyone.
Mark your calendar for June 1st through June 4th as Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church in Newport News presents the Newport News Greek Festival. Enjoy authentic Greek food, desserts, beverages, music, dancing, arts and crafts, and much more. This is the 50th anniversary of this signature event on the peninsula, and it will be special. The Newport News Greek Festival is located at 60 Traverse Road, off exit 258B on Route 17 in Newport News. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org. Opa!
Catch up on archived editions of Sports Scene by going to GJBTV.com and clicking the YouTube image on the homepage. Now back to Sports Scene on 1650 AM and TuneIn.com.
And welcome back to Sports Scene. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us. For more, go to GJBTV.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows. Sports Scene every Wednesday at Greg Bick on Twitter, the home here in Virginia Beach of Ryan Zimmerman of the Nationals. We've had this gentleman on several times on Sports Scene before. I always see him when I work some of the Fox telecasts as well. Phil Wood from Masson. He's on the Nationals radio network. You see him all throughout the year on Masson on TV as well. How are you, Phil?
Very well, Greg. Thank you.
Very good, very good. Let's start off with Ryan Zimmerman, first of all. In his aging years, he's starting to play very well so far this season.
Well, obviously, if he's healthy, he's a different guy. Mm-hmm. And he's been healthy. I was in spring training watching him, and he was hitting the ball extremely well. And having watched him since he first got to the big leagues in September of 2005, first year of the Nationals, and when you see Ryan hit the ball hard to right center field, you know he's kind of locked in. That's where he likes to hit the ball, and he's got several home runs to a right center field and to right field, and he's able to turn on the ball and pull it down the left field line as well. But the big thing I've noticed this year he's a lot more aggressive at the plate. The last couple of years, he took a lot of strike ones and strike twos just watching the ball. He's not doing that now, and I don't know whether or not Dusty Baker basically said, don't wait anymore. You're letting too many good pitches go past you or what. But the point is, he's healthy, he's aggressive at the plate, and it's paying off.
Well, Dusty's got to be happy, I guess, Phil. Tell me the lay of the land, 16-9 after 25 games. What is your take so far? What is the team's take?
Well, I think Dusty understands that there's some flaws on this roster, mainly in the bullpen. Starting rotation's been very solid. Joe Ross, obviously somewhat disappointing, got sent back to the minor leagues yesterday, and they're going to go with Jacob Turner in the fifth slot, at least for the time being. There's a couple of other things going on. Obviously, losing Adam Eaton to the injury hurts a lot, and I think with Eaton in the lineup and batting leadoff and Trey Turner batting second, I think this club was hitting on all offensive cylinders, and so losing Eaton is tough. I mean, Turner obviously batted leadoff toward the end of last season and did a terrific job, but they really thought having that Eaton at the top of the lineup, Dusty likes to go with that right-left alternate batting order, and you can't do that as easily with Eaton not there. But something tells me that there's something in the works trade-wise. There's been a scout from the Kansas City Royals the last several games. Prior to the Eaton injury, it was known that they were talking with Kansas City about Kelvin Herrera. Now, it wouldn't shock me if the Nats tried to put a package together to get both Herrera and Lorenzo Cain, who's going to be a free agent in Kansas City. And I think we'd both agree, Greg, that the Royals are going absolutely nowhere this season.
Right. And, of course, you're talking to Phil Wood right here, and you look at the Nationals and you look at the division they're in with the Marlins, Phils, and Mets, who are, barely above 500. They can play good on any given night. But it seems like this year, especially for the regular season at least, the Nationals are almost like the Kentucky Derby. They're the strong horse getting that big lead ahead. And if they can keep on keeping on and get that bullpen going and getting some more, bench support, this team can go a long way as far as the regular season is concerned, because the other teams seem like they're struggling at best or inconsistent at best.
Well, I think if you can count on scoring 6+ runs a night on the average, the way the Nats did in April, you and I could be in the bullpen. I mean, it's just they've been an absolute offensive juggernaut that was pointed out, again, not to badmouth the Royals again, but the fact is the Nationals scored more runs last week than the Royals scored all month. Mm-hmm. It's really an embarrassment of riches. You look at the batting order when you've got Matt Wieters batting 7th or 8th. Certainly when Eaton was in the lineup, and while Eaton is not really a power hitter, he did show some power, and he's certainly capable of hitting gap to gap. But no real easy outs 1 through 8 when everybody was healthy. Different story, like for instance last night. With Eaton out, they gave Matt Wieters a day off. They didn't do much offensively last night against Arizona, a good ball club. But but nonetheless, you almost expect the Nationals night after night to come up with double-digit hits.
Right. You mentioned Wieters. How did that move go? People haven't really talked about it. Did he have to move from where he lived at? Phil, what is as far as Wieters, how was the move from the Baltimore to Washington?
Interesting. Well, number one, at the winter meetings, which were held just outside D.C. at National Harbor in December, there was no buzz at all about Matt Wieters. Now, we can remember when Wieters got to the major leagues and that he was going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread, a big star at Georgia Tech and high draft pick. And he got to the Orioles, and he was a good player, but he certainly wasn't a superstar, particularly offensively. Switch-hitting catcher with some pop. But obviously had some injury issues. He missed the better part of a year with the surgery on his arm. Came back, didn't play that often. They didn't want to play him back-to-back days real often. But anyway, he becomes a free agent again. The Orioles don't make him the qualifying offer, and he kind of sits on the market. Well, I think most people in baseball know that Scott Boras has a great relationship with the Lerner family who own the Nationals, and so kind of in fact, spring training was already underway when they announced that they had signed Wieters to a 2-year contract, basically 1 year with a 1-year option, and it's a mutual option, but it was a fairly cheap contract based upon what you expected that he might get. It was about $10.5 million a year. So he comes to spring training. He's not terribly impressive offensively in spring training, but again, he got a late start. But since the season started, I mean, at one point, I mean, he was literally catching every day, every inning, and Lobaton not getting a lot of work as the backup. Now, they started to give him some days off because I think Dusty Baker and Mike Rizzo both realized that Wieters has not played every day in a number of years. So he has gotten some more time off, but he is showing pop with the bat now. He does a pretty good job behind the plate. The gripe on Wieters in Baltimore was that he didn't frame pitches well. Framing pitches is kind of the skill du jour for catchers. It's stealing strikes, basically, but I never thought that was much of an issue with Wieters. The guy had a great throwing arm, and I think the biggest thing he had defensively over his predecessor in Washington, Wilson Ramos, is his ability to make plays at the plate. Long arms, tall, he knows exactly where to position his feet. He can make the sweep tag. He did it many, many times with the Orioles, and that's something that the Nats did not have with Wilson Ramos behind the plate. But Wieters, who I was talking about the whole living arrangements with him a couple of weeks ago, and he said he never really bought a house in Baltimore. He lived in a townhouse in Baltimore, and now he's living in Northern Virginia, and he says he has a house and a yard now. So again, he said he's still renting, but obviously if he had signed a longer-term contract, he might have bought something. But I think he's willing to see what happens this year and then make a decision about 2018 and beyond in the fall.
Yeah, I don't know if the Orioles thought his best baseball was behind him as we're talking to Phil Wood, because we saw Caleb Joseph down here with AAA with the Tides. He was, pretty good arm strength, but he was struggling at the plate, as you know, last year as well. So that's what really, threw me off a little bit.
Well, of course, Caleb Joseph ended up as the everyday catcher in Baltimore when Wieters first got hurt. Yeah. And it was the year they went to postseason play. They won the American League East with Joseph as the everyday catcher. Now, obviously, last year was a different story, and Joseph didn't have an RBI all season. It was ridiculous. But he's gotten a chance to play with Baltimore more recently. But in Wieters' case, it came down to this. Because they had made him the qualifying offer for 2016, and which was in excess of $15 million. The qualifying offer for 2017 was over $17 million, and they simply were not willing to spend that much money on a guy they thought was above average, but not one of the elite catchers.
Mm-hmm. So if you're Dr. Phil, what are the issues with the Nationals? We mentioned what their decent record, probably the best record in the National League, 17-9. Some of the wins are struggling, they're getting by, but the health of the pitching staff, Scherzer, Strasburg, Gonzalez, and the lineup 1 through 9, like you said, is pretty solid for the most part. What do you see as we go into the next 25 games that you're going to be looking for?
Well, I'm waiting to see if they make a deal to bring in somebody else to close the games. And I think at this point in time, Blake Trinan was handed the job and did not do well after the first couple of outings, and so was taken out of that role. So they've kind of had bullpen by committee, or at least closer by committee. Sean Kelly's picked up a couple of saves, and I tell you, the guy who's been the real savior to the bullpen has been Matt Albers, because he's come in and pitched some key innings midway through a number of ball games and has yet to give up a run so far. But Coda Glover was promising, but then the hip issue flared up again. He's on the DL. Sammy Solis, solid left-hander, he's on the DL. There's just not enough depth out there. I mean, Oliver Perez has done better this year than he did last year in terms of situational, left-handed one-out type situations. But there's not enough there at the moment, and I think that they're looking at again, some other ball clubs are looking at some non-contenders who may have a player they want to move. They don't want any long-term commitments to anybody out there, because they think once their own guys are healthy, they'll be fine. But there's no way of knowing yet when Glover will be back or when Solis will be back.
Talking to Phil Wood from Masson, also part of the Nats Radio Network, covered the Orioles for several years as well. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us on this May 3rd, 1220, 92.5 FM, 1650 AM. This will be archived on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook later this evening. We mentioned the records: Philadelphia 12-13, Miami 11-14, the Braves playing a little bit better than they did last year. They're 11-14. The Mets, although they look pretty good against the Nats, except for the weekend Sunday game, 11-15. So you look at the lay of the land; it looks pretty good in the East. And the other ones, like the Cubs, are 14-12. Arizona's 17-11, like you mentioned earlier. So it's still wide open. It's always going to come down to postseason, September and October baseball, and that's where the Nats are struggling. Are the teams already being proactive? Rizzo looking ahead already. I know he can't get too far ahead, but it seems like that's where the thorns and the roadblocks have happened with the Nationals and the Orioles is the postseason.
Well, they've been to the postseason 3 times, and they lost in the first round all 3 times, and all 3 times with a different manager and some other parts of the team, some other personnel that were there in 12 and 14 weren't there in 16 or there now. Dusty Baker, I think, with his experience, I think he's less prone to make the kind of mistakes that, for instance, I thought a Matt Williams made when he was managing the club. But it's one of those things. Mike Rizzo has an enormous staff of special assistants. They're all people, veteran scouts. Some have been big league managers, like a Bob Boone or a Chuck Cottier, and so proactive is certainly the right word to use. The other thing is, you've got some players in the Nationals farm system, and pitching especially. Eric Fetty, Austin Voth are 2 guys who I think you may see at least in September when rosters expand, but they figure to be in the big leagues fairly soon. So you look at the makeup of the Nationals rotation now and who they might be willing to free up in a deal. It wouldn't be Strasburg, obviously. It wouldn't be Scherzer, but beyond that, if the price is right, I think that they feel like they've got enough depth going forward in their farm system. The other 2 guys to keep your eye on, one guy who is currently at Potomac and the other guy who is currently at Hagerstown. At Potomac, Victor Robles, a 5-tool guy. He's currently on the DL, but it's nothing serious. And at Hagerstown, a young man named Juan Soto. Juan Soto, last year at the age of 17 in the Gulf Coast League, hit .360. Then they moved him up to the New York Penn League to finish out the season, and he hit over .400. So far at Hagerstown, he's hitting well over .300. He's not hitting for a lot of power at the moment. They think that will come in time, but he's still only 18 years old. Mm-hmm.
Let's switch gears to the American League, of course. The Orioles and Yankees both 16-9. Of course, AL West, you got Houston surprisingly 18-9. I remember a few years ago they struggled barely to win any games. They've really evolved the last several years, but the Orioles were on NBC News, not for baseball action, but for another negative situation with Adam Jones. It's really horrible that fans or anybody in 2017 would talk to any human being like Adam Jones is saying. Now, Adam Jones must have had some really good hearing as far as being out in the outfield, all the noise and the speakers and so forth. What is your experience with that type of stuff? I remember Ken Griffey, the older one, used to get heckled all the time when he came to play the Orioles way back in the mid '80s. But what's going on there?
Well, the situation with Adam Jones in Boston. Keep in mind that when you're in center field at Fenway Park, you're still fairly close to some fans, and the fans who sit in the monster seats atop the wall in left field, I'm sure, depending upon the circumstance, you can hear every word that they have to say, and then there's the fans who sit in the center field bleachers. So, Adam's been around long enough. I think he can isolate certain voices in his head. But we talked about this yesterday on the Mid-Atlantic Sports Report. I look at the situation there from a historic perspective. The last team in Major League Baseball to integrate was the Boston Red Sox. They waited till 1959, 12 years after Jackie Robinson, to integrate. And they integrated with a player named Pumpsy Green, a utility infielder who was a light-hitting, decent fielding player. But it was almost as if the Red Sox were saying, okay, we tried a black player. It didn't work out. Do we have to have another one? Now, of course, they shortly thereafter came up with a pitcher named Earl Wilson, who had several solid years in the big leagues with the Red Sox and the Tigers. As time went by, you saw players like Jim Rice and Reggie Smith, and so again, the Red Sox had their fair share of solid African American players. But because Boston is a town, and if you go back to, again, in my generation, back in '68 after the Martin Luther King assassination, where you had riots all over the country, and the riots in Boston were particularly bad. And I think racism is something that you don't become racist. I think if your parents are prejudiced, chances are you will be too, and your kids will after that be prejudiced as well. So I think what happens in Boston, and again, it's not everybody. It's only a handful of people that we're talking about, but that's all it takes is a handful of people to embarrass an entire city, a major metropolitan area. And I think that's that's what you saw in Boston with Adam Jones. And Adam, for people who don't know, there is no player in Major League Baseball more conversant on the life and career of Jackie Robinson than Adam Jones.
Right.
He's done extensive research on Jackie. He has every book about Jackie. He goes out of his way to find these things, and I think that, again, because he knows the Jackie Robinson story so up close, so intimately, that I think he's more sensitive than the average player is when he hears taunts from the crowd at Fenway Park, which are not complimentary.
Right. The Orioles right now 16-9. You mentioned him, Trumbo, Hardy, Davis. What's Buck thinking right now? Are they pretty happy? The Yankees are a big surprise.
Well, the Yankees are somewhat of a surprise, only because what they didn't do last year, but you saw what happened late in the season when they brought the youngsters up, and you look at Aaron Judge and Gary Sanchez, and I think they're legit. I think that there's nothing flukish about their ability to swing the bat. Pitching-wise, I think they have some holes. I think Sabathia is about done. Masahiro Tanaka pitched a good game last night, but I mean, this is a club that has some holes. But I don't think they went into this season thinking they were going to be a contender. But we've seen teams not expect to contend and contend nonetheless. So we'll have to keep our eye on the Yankees, and I think the Red Sox are going to be fine going forward. The Orioles, I still think, are a couple of arms short, and you look at this constant shuttle over the years between Norfolk and Baltimore of pitchers. I defy anybody to look at the Orioles starting rotation and tell me that's a championship caliber starting rotation. It's just not. But what I don't understand is some of the players that they've signed recently, like Edwin Jackson, for instance, is going to be if he hasn't already, will be reporting to Norfolk quite soon. Well, I don't think Edwin Jackson has pitched well in a number of years. He's got a lot of experience, a long resume, and he can give you innings. But he's a sub 500 pitcher with a 4+ ERA. Again, is that better than what you already have on hand? I'm a little surprised that the Orioles have not given another solid look-see to Steve Johnson, who again has been with them before, was sent away, was at Seattle last year, is back with the Orioles organization now, and the numbers he's put up in the minor leagues have been pretty much solid start to finish, and for whatever reason, he doesn't get smiled upon as much as some of the other guys, as much as, say, a Mike Wright or a Tyler Wilson.
Right. Well, Phil, we appreciate it. We know you have to get moving here soon, right here at 1228. Phil Wood of Masson, of course, on the radio network, is also part of the TV coverage as well. All the best. We'll talk to you as the summer goes along. I guess good things are right now. Both teams are in first place, so let's keep on keeping on. All the best to you and your family for a great summer, and we'll talk to you soon, Phil.
Thank you, Greg. Thanks.
Thank you. My pleasure. Phil Wood right there from Masson talking about the Orioles and the Nationals. He does a lot of the post-game show for the Nationals radio network. When I worked for the game, we covered them from 2007 to 2013 as well. Covered them as well. Really great overall squad. Always good in the regular season. They seem to struggle during the postseason. All right, catch the new wave as your Norfolk Tides take the field at beautiful Harbor Park. Bring your friends and family to root on the Orioles of tomorrow. Log on to NorfolkTides.com for more information, season tickets, groups, and merchandise. Follow the Tides on Twitter and Facebook for up-to-date promotions and player moves. Tides Baseball, see the green. 25th anniversary in Harbor Park, always a special moment when you go to a Tides game. Greg Bicouvaris at Greg Bick. Hope you enjoyed Phil Wood from Masson. We get the elite guests right here on Sports Scene, 92.5 FM, 1650 AM. Stay tuned.
Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick. Email the show, bicogb@hotmail.com. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris in the Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com studios. It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
All right, thank you, Ken Johnson there, name from the past there. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us. This is Sports Scene every Wednesday, 12 to 1. Lock it, 1650 AM, 92.5 FM. Of course, gjbtv.com is where you can go to your gateway for archive shows. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows. Visit all the pages of HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Great for locals and tourists to browse, shop, and visit HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Retail, services, restaurants, marketplace. There's something for everyone right there at HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. No blogs, no minutia. You click the link. It takes you directly to the website. And basically that's what it all comes down to on your phone or your computer, people looking at websites. Save the date. We'll be back here next Wednesday from 12 to 1. We'll talk more of the Kings Mill Golf Tournament going on the week of May the 15th. So right here, we'll talk golf next Wednesday on Sports Scene. And, of course, all powered by gjbtv.com. Hope you enjoyed Phil Wood from Masson, longtime Orioles and Nationals fixture in radio and TV. Great guest, Phil Wood. This will be archived a little bit later. Excellent guest right here on Sports Scene on this May the 3rd. A lot going on, like we mentioned. The Wizards in the NBA playoffs. The Celtics definitely have the upper swing right now. Also, Golden State looking really good, too. Cleveland trying to finish off what they consider their run to the playoffs as well. Of course, they rarely lose during the Eastern Conference portion of the postseason as well. All right, we'll take a short break. We'll come back with more of our business spotlights and a lot more, what teased me off, and a lot of fun right here on Sports Scene on this beautiful Wednesday. Mark your calendar for June 1st through June 4th as Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church in Newport News presents the Newport News Greek Festival. Enjoy authentic Greek food, desserts, beverages, music, dancing, arts and crafts, and much more. This is the 50th anniversary of this signature event on the peninsula, and it will be special. The Newport News Greek Festival is located at 60 Traverse Road, off exit 258B on Route 17 in Newport News. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has two locations, 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-7705. At Mi Hogar, there is something for everyone.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
All right, it's lunchtime, and the locals' tradition is CP Shuckers with locations on Shore Drive and Pacific Avenue. People love their prime rib, seafood, and much more. They got the Big Mother Shuckers event going on next weekend down at Pacific Avenue. They showcase NASCAR, Major League Baseball. NASCAR, of course, is in Talladega this weekend. Major League Baseball, NHL, NBA, college sports, golf, soccer, tennis. Like both locations on Facebook and log on to cpshuckers.com. Eat or be eaten at CP Shuckers, like we mentioned. Their Big Mother Shuckers event going on next week. Appetizers, burgers, pasta, seafood, steak bites, tuna bites. It's all at both locations. Chef Leon has his bar bites on Shore Drive as well. Go to cpshuckers.com. That's cpshuckers.com. Of course, you'll be back again this Saturday as well.
Yeah, me and brother Tim, we have a show called Picking Up the Habit every Saturday from 11 to noon. We played a best of last week because we went on vacation. We've been on the air for 6 months straight, so we took a little break on our 6-month anniversary, I guess, and so we will be back live this Saturday at 11 a.m., and what we talk about is just we look at current events and what's going on in the news and what's going on in the world around us, and we filter everything through a Christian's perspective and what is a Christian's response to something that's going on in society. And so
very good.
Take a listen Saturdays at 11.
All right, take a look at Panera, now the only nationwide chain they can say every item is 100% clean. They deliver. They also offer catering and also have a rapid pickup option as well. Delicious soups, sandwiches, salads, smoothies, breakfast, beverages, bagels, it's all with Christian and the great staff at Panera Bread. Open 7 days a week, breakfast, lunch, dinner, late night, 6255 College Drive. Give them a call at 483-3670. That's 483-3670, PaneraBread.com. They really do specialize in really good bread, really good danishes, great smoothies, like I said, soups, sandwiches, salads. There's something for everyone at Panera Bread. Also want to mention, too, as well, the Norfolk Greek Festival is also coming up as well, May 18th through the 21st in Norfolk, right off of Granby Street. Great event as well. We mentioned the Newport News Greek Festival, June 1st to June 4th. NewportNewsGreekFestival.org for more information as well. So a lot going on. Sports Scene rolls on after this.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has 2 locations, 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-7705. At Mi Hogar, there is something for everyone.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Want to provide a private education for your kids, but think the cost is just out of your reach? Then give us a call at 488-1010 and ask us about our tuition solution. We have a partnership program with private schools in the Hampton Roads area that allows us to offer up to a 40% discount on tuition. And it's not just schools, but daycares as well. Don't let anything hold you back from the Christian education your children deserve. Give us a call at 488-1010 or visit our website at tuitionsolution.org.
Mark your calendar for June 1st through June 4th as Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church in Newport News presents the Newport News Greek Festival. Enjoy authentic Greek food, desserts, beverages, music, dancing, arts and crafts, and much more. This is the 50th anniversary of this signature event on the peninsula, and it will be special. The Newport News Greek Festival is located at 60 Travis Road, off exit 258B on Route 17 in Newport News. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
All right, welcome back live right here to Sports Scene on this beautiful May the 3rd. Hope you enjoyed Phil Wood from Masson talking the Nationals and the Orioles, both in first place. Congratulations to them. I know Brenda Tusing's partner loves baseball, and Terry, and let's welcome Brenda from the Royal Chocolate. Welcome back.
Thank you, Greg. How are you on this spectacular day?
Yeah, finally we get some good spring weather. It's sunshine. I mean, I think everybody's in a better mood, don't you think, Brenda, when it's sunny?
I know that I am.
Yes, I am too.
I can tell you that.
Exactly. All right, we just had Easter a few weeks ago. There's always something going on at the Royal Chocolate because Mother's Day is around the corner.
Well, we have a couple of things, actually. This is Teachers Week, and so we have been, everybody I think has been enjoying our special. We did it started the 1st of May, and it's going through the 12th, $2 off of our gourmet apples. What a perfect way for Teachers Week to thank your teachers. Next week is actually Nurses Week, Nurses Appreciation Week. So, again, $2 off an apple will come in handy. And then, yes, we have Mother's Day on the 14th, the day it's all about Mom.
Right. And, of course, you got great beverages, too, and the royalchocolate.com, your own social media. Talk about your address. You've been there for quite some time in Virginia Beach.
10 years. 164 Central Park Avenue, right across from all the construction that, I was looking at it the other day, and people are having a little bit of a heartache with it because it has inhibited our parking. I will give you that. But, it's actually kind of fun to watch something go from the ground up. I noticed people sitting outside on the benches and just watching the construction. So it's pretty interesting. But, yeah, we're at 164 Central Park Avenue in the Virginia Beach Town Center.
Right. Next few weeks, of course, you got major graduations going on, too, the college graduations.
Lots of people graduating. We have some fun things, some gift baskets, of course, but we do really, really cute Oreos, dipped Oreos, and then we have little graduation caps on top of them. And in a little package or a box of 6, they are just such a nice little way to congratulate some graduates this spring. Hey, and guess what we have this Saturday coming up?
What's up?
We have a make-your-own chocolate bar for
Nice.
children and adults, 6 and up. It's so much fun. It's all, between 11 and 2. You do not need a reservation. Just pop in and see us. You sit down, you make a chocolate bar. You decide what you'd like to add to it, sprinkles, M&Ms, toffee, marshmallows, and then you put it in a little mold, decorate the box, and off you go with this. It's a really substantial-sized chocolate bar.
Right.
And for moms, if the kids want to come in and make a little gift for their mother, for $12, we have a really pretty red heart-shaped box.
Right.
So we're going to have a lot of fun this Saturday. So, yeah, kids and young and old, as we say, come on in and see us because it's a great time.
Yeah, your store is always well decorated as well. As we're talking to Brenda Tusing from the Royal Chocolate. Also want to tell Brenda's listeners, too, that follow her. This show is also on 92.5 FM now, as well as 1650 AM. Again, 92.5 FM, 1650 AM for Sports Scene and WHKT. When somebody walks into your store, let's say a tourist is listening, because the traffic is bad everywhere now, Brenda. It's just not during rush hour anymore. And they're saying they're stuck in traffic, they want to get a treat at the end of the day or some type of beverage or candy. Give them a tour of your facility.
Well, just come on in, and all you have to do is inhale, and you'll immediately feel better.
Yes.
The smell of chocolate is, of course, just everywhere. But you'll see all of the things. We make our chocolate right up front, so that's a lot of fun. And you will find people standing there sometimes taking pictures of our staff as we make chocolate in the store, dip the apples, dip fresh strawberries. We have about 1.5 cases of chocolate that we make there. Then they'll wander around. They'll see chocolate bars from around the world. They'll see truffles, creams, caramels, sugar-free items. And we have a really beautiful seating area. I think a lot of people walk in and they get so fixated on the chocolate, they miss that pretty seating area. You can come in any time of day and sit down and have chocolate fondue, where you can sit down and have a cup of coffee or one of our frozen beverages, our frozen hot chocolates in milk or white. You can add Oreos, strawberries. We have so much. It's really hard to express how much we have in that store.
Yeah, any sports teams out there, a great treat is get your kids some candies as well, of course. And let me ask you a question, too, because when I was growing up, you didn't hear as much, and you and I have talked about this before, about peanut allergies. What happened with this the last several years about all the drama with peanuts?
You know, it's really... It was heartbreaking for many years when we'd see people come in and they'd have children with them, and, you know, everybody was getting a treat, and they were desperately looking for something that didn't have peanuts in it, and a lot of times there just wasn't anything. We now have a chocolate line. It's Vermont Chocolates, and it is made in an entirely nut-free, peanut-free environment. It is so safe for anybody with a peanut allergy. At Easter time, I had a woman, I shipped some things. We were still shipping then. Now we can only deliver locally, but I shipped her a few things, and she said, this is the first time my son is going to be able to have an Easter bunny.
That's
all
great.
The other kids get them, and he can never have them because we can't find nut-free. Right. I shipped that to Williamsburg for. So, yeah, it's wonderful. The nut-free line is great. We have another nice allergen-free line that has no soy and gluten and peanuts and tree nuts, and it's called Pasha. It's very popular, and people that have allergies, really, I can't figure out, with all of the things they leave out of that chocolate bar, how they get it to taste so wonderful. But it's a fabulous bar.
Right. Talking to Brenda Tusing. Go ahead and plug all your social media, Brenda.
We are on Facebook. Of course, we have great presence on Facebook and do some really good specials and things like that. TheRoyalChocolate.com is our website. And, of course, we are on Twitter and Instagram.
Very good. All right, open 7 days a week. There's something for everyone. It's a great time of the year to go to the Royal Chocolate in beautiful Virginia Beach. It's also a good time to stroll around the town center, too.
You know, there's so much in town center, and I really love it when people just get out there. And now's the time for, winter, obviously, who wants to walk around outside? And why not Wednesdays will be starting up soon, so let's keep our ears open for the starting date for that. I believe it's the end of this month. Free concert every Wednesday night. Wonderful place for families. But yeah, there's a lot to do, and wandering around. They have some nice benches in town center, and you can sit and enjoy the view and people watch. That's a great sport.
Right. Of course, you never know. It's like walking to a Walmart. You never know what you're going to see.
You just never know. It's fun to sit there and watch.
All right. The phone number 557-6925. Once again, recap what's going on this weekend.
This weekend, we're having a make-your-own chocolate bar. We have got a $2 off special on our gourmet apples all the way through the 12th.
Very
and then
good.
comes Mother's Day. Ooh, and on Mother's Day, if you come in and do a chocolate fondue package, Mom gets a special gift that day. And we are open 12 to 5 on Mother's Day.
Well, you have a great staff. Say hello to Terry and the friendly people. And
Thank you.
We will talk to you soon, Brenda.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you. My pleasure. All right, Brenda Tusing right there from the Royal Chocolate. And I guess there's never a bad time to get chocolate, Joe Daniel.
Never. I've never come across a time that chocolate sounded bad.
Right. All right, before we get to what teased me off, of course, Outback Steakhouse in Virginia Beach at 1255 Fordham Drive in Kempsville. Great place to take your mom for Mother's Day. Father's Day coming up as well. They got delicious appetizers like coconut shrimp and bloom petals. They got Victoria's filet. They got salmon. They got steak. They got excellent burgers there, seafood, pasta, desserts, all at Outback Steakhouse. Go by and see Mike and the friendly staff 7 days a week for lunch and dinner. They're open right now at 1255 Fordham Drive in beautiful Kempsville in Virginia Beach. Phone number is 523-4832. Follow Outback Steakhouse on all social media. They really cover it. Mike and the great staff will take care of your lunch and dinner. And, of course, great time to have a special occasion to take anybody out. Right here on Sports Scene, we welcome, of course, Outback Steakhouse every week, 1255 Fordham Drive. All right, let's get to what teased me off.
What Tees You Off? Presented by GJBTV.com.
All right, we will welcome always Outback Steakhouse, but also our good friends, too, at Buffalo Wild Wings and Newport News, always giving back to the community. Paul O'Dell, I got to really give him a lot of credit. Go by and say hello to Paul, folks. He's right there at the Patrick Henry Mall location in Newport News. Buffalo Wild Wings, always giving back to charities in the communities. Wings, beer, and sports. They got all the places to watch, wall-to-wall TVs for the NBA, the NHL playoffs. The Caps are still in it. The Wizards are still in it. Of course, great NASCAR action. Baseball 7 days a week. Soccer was really popular too as well. Tennis, golf, all at Buffalo Wild Wings. Excellent appetizers like chicken quesadillas. They've got tacos there. They got mozzarella sticks. Boneless traditional wing specials on during the week. Go to the Buffalo Wild Wings to find out which days to go there. Excellent salads for you guys loving salads. Of course, like their Santa Fe salad or their buffalo chicken salad. Great sauces, too. They got the Big Jack Daddy Burger, as well as wraps and sandwiches, and, of course, delicious onion rings, side salads, potato wedges, veggie slaw, and much more. Desserts, tenders and macks. They got stuff for the kids as well. And, of course, buy a bottle, make a difference, bring home the flavor of B-dubs, and help more kids and teens in need to play team sports. $1 from every signature sauce or seasoning purchase is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America, to the All-Stars teams across the country. Buffalo Wild Wings, right there at Patrick Henry Mall in Newport News, 7 days a week, lunch, dinner, late night at 12150 Jefferson Avenue. Give them a call at 249-3999. All right, what teased me off? We have a lot that teased me off, Mr. JD. Awkward laughs out loud when you're sitting quiet, let's say reading a book or a magazine at an airport or a library, and all of a sudden you hear some awkward laugh out louds.
I gotta have to say I'm pretty guilty of that. If something strikes my funny bone, I will give a loud LOL. It'll definitely be pretty loud and awkward. It'll make people take a step back. I laugh pretty loud.
It's different from laughing at home than laughing in public.
Yes, yeah. You got to be polite. You got to be polite when you laugh. I've learned that.
I've said this before. I'm not a fan of ladders or heavy objects. I had to do blue-collar work this past weekend at the NASCAR race in Richmond. Carrying heavy objects and walking by people can be like, with ladders especially.
Oh, yeah, ladders. You got to be super mindful. I used to also work in construction and carrying long 2x4s or something like that, plywood, and trying to navigate through some people or the rest of the crew. Yeah, it can get pretty difficult.
Especially you got to be careful with elderly and kids around too.
Yeah.
All right, remember, this is what teased me off for having a little fun here. Bossy people who are insecure, JD, and who always want to know what you doing.
I think anybody who is really bossy is insecure.
Right.
I think it's like a criteria.
Right. I was like saying, do you guys have like some type of, certain thing? And she had to chime in, of course. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
That goes. All right. How about this? When you go to a restaurant, when a waiter seems to make his or own rules. So a waiter said certain things don't apply during happy hour. And I talked to the management and they said, disregard what he said.
Wow.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah, that's
it's almost
a trip.
like this hidden camera type thing.
Yeah. No, that's a trick. Like he's pocketing some money. It's just like, no, it's actually this price, and you pay a little more so you can skim off the top. I'm not saying that's what happened, but you hear stuff like that actually does happen.
And everybody can relate to this right now. Everybody can relate to this during rush hour or any time. When you're on the interstate, you always see that one trucker car driving on the emergency lanes to pass everybody.
That drives me nuts. I can't believe people do that. Like, I don't understand that mentality that you have to get into to where, you know what, I'm just going to drive on the shoulder and think it's okay. I don't understand how that works. I don't understand how your brain works.
Exactly. I mean, like, we're all stuck. We all want to go to the restroom. We're all low on gas. We're all hungry. We're all in the same boat.
The shoulder is for emergencies, if somebody needs to pull over. So now you're driving on the shoulder, and what if there is a vehicle that is experiencing a flat tire or some kind of other vehicular emergency, and now you're behind it, and now you'll even look more like a dummy.
Right. And usually the state police will write you a ticket for that as well.
Oh, yeah.
And also, of course, it's meant for ambulances and fire trucks and police cars and so forth. And it can be awkward, too, because you're stuck in traffic during the summer. Your AC is going down low. Your battery in your phone is going bad. You're hungry, and your tank is on empty. And then you see somebody going on the emergency lane.
And then you see some bad guy.
Goodness. All right. How about this? I'm feel about the early morning chats and long conversations early in the morning. We've talked about the good morning.
Yeah, we talked about the good morning.
But the in-depth conversations.
Yeah. At least for me, I got to have my coffee first.
Right.
Don't engage me with something too deep.
Right.
Until I get my coffee.
All right, this is what teased me off. Don't forget Newport News Greek Festival, June 1st through 4th. For more, go to newportnewsgreekfestival.org as well. All right, people who put personal belongings on their chairs when you're stuck there for several hours. Hello, people need to sit on chairs. Put your knapsack on the floor or hang it up.
Yeah, just taking up as much space as you can, unless you're reserving it. Like that makes sense. If you're saving it for your significant other or something like that, you're at the movie theater, total sense, But if you're just taking up space.
Yeah. And anybody over 30 still having a knapsack, really? I mean, you're over 30 years old, you're carrying a knapsack like a 16-year-old. Carry something else, but not a knapsack. You look creepy.
A fanny pack.
Yeah, exactly.
Go with a fanny pack.
All right, this is a really good one right here, too. All right, you and I were growing up as far as ladies first always. The etiquette. But let me ask you this question. Is there such thing as ladies first etiquette on the road or the highways, or is it fend for yourself, all for yourself?
That's a great question.
Or like could be a parking spot at the big box store. It could be crossing that line on 64 by, let's say, Granby Street. I mean, because sometimes you can't tell.
No, that's a fascinating question. Yeah, I mean, if there are two people who are trying to go for the same parking spot at the Walmart or Target or whatever, and you see that it's a female driver, do you just yield to that female driver? That's a fascinating question. I've never thought about that before, because you're right. I do at least hold the door open for women. I always let them proceed first, pull out their chair, for example. But in other life activities, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I just don't do it as often in everyday life.
Right. You only have a split decision to make that decision.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
A split moment, of course. All right, how about this? Adult kids still living at home with parents. Really, if you're 25 and older and still living with mom or mom and dad and don't have a job, please get a job.
Yes, absolutely. During our show, Picking Up the Habit on Saturdays from 11 to 12, we talked about this. There was a new study that came out for Pew Research, and they said that millennials nowadays don't see themselves as adults until they're 30 years old. Some millennials even don't think that they are adults or qualified to be called adults until they reach the age of 40. And so,
really, where did the entitlement come from?
I have no. Well, based on the criteria on the survey, it said like you have to pay for your own bills, you have to live outside of your parents' home, you have to pay groceries and stuff. So it's taking on that responsibility. And apparently these millennials don't think that they don't that they need to do that until they're 30, some even until 40 years old.
Too late. All right. I want to thank Phil Wood from Masson, talking about the Nationals and the Orioles. He's part of the Nationals radio network. Also can see him on Masson year-round talking baseball. Also want to thank Brenda Tusing in our business spotlight, talking about the Royal Chocolate, great place as well. Thank you to 92.5 FM and 1650 AM for giving me this platform every Wednesday from 12 to 1. For more, go to gjbtv.com, hit the YouTube link, and of course go to HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com for all your shopping needs as well. Follow me 7 days a week on Twitter at Greg Bick. That's GREGBIC. Add me on Facebook if you want to as well. For Joe Daniel, I'm Greg Bicouvaris. Enjoy this beautiful weather, and we'll talk to you soon.
AM 1650, WHKT Portsmouth, 92.5 FM, W223CT Norfolk. For your daily supply of news and talk, we are The Answer.